How are you doing this, Martin from Gardens for Life? Birds have always played a really important role in our gardens, but also in our lives because we like to watch birds and especially hear them sing as well, the songbirds. So much so that we actually called our house Birdland Cottage and our studio Birdland Studio. Birds are a really important part of the ecosystem and we like to keep them around the garden just to balance our ecosystem, aka basically just as pest control. And when you take care of the birds, they'll actually stay in your garden and they'll take care of caterpillars and all the rest of the types of things that they might eat, even insects that might actually become a problem. I know what some of you are thinking, the birds will eat all your berries and, well, you know, there is that element of it, but we like to see it as a give and take. We like to provide birds with food when there isn't much other food around, especially in early summer. All you have to do is really just outplant the birds. We like to call it basically just plant lots of different currants and raspberries and strawberries and all the other types of gooseberries and other berries that you might be able to plant. You'll find that in the autumn the birds won't be as interested in your berries because the hedgerows are actually loaded, at least here in Ireland anyway, in the Midlands. So the birds will just pick blackberries and elderberries, for example, or even sloes. They'll have plenty to eat in the autumn time, so you could actually plant varieties of berries that fruit in the autumn. Of course, that won't really work with currants and gooseberries. Actually, if there is a gooseberry that fruits in autumn, I'd love to know. If you could leave us a comment below, that'd be great. But I know raspberries, definitely autumn fruiting raspberries are something worth looking forward to. Now just remember, you shouldn't be feeding birds when there is other food around, especially while they're nesting in the springtime. But if the ground is frozen in the winter and if there is snow outside, even if it's just for a week or two, it would definitely be a good thing to actually support the birds a little bit with some cereal or grains, or even some oats. You can actually get them to stay over winter in your garden if you provide shelter for them. The easiest way to do that is actually to just give them a birdhouse to stay in. We have a number of birdhouses around our property, but as you can see here, this one here already has somebody living in it. So the birds simply build a nest inside, and there are some more real estate over here, bird real estate. Nowhere near as fancy as this year's model of birdhouse, of course. And in our front garden, under the famous monkey puzzle trees, we also have some more birdhouses. A double-decker apartment. Same as insects, if you can take advantage of the insects and keep them there for the growing season, you can also extend that arrangement by simply keeping them over winter and then continue on already with them in place in your garden in the part of their ecosystem next spring. So for the next growing season you're already pretty much sorted for pest control. Especially biodiversity is the best way to actually control pests, not chemicals. Don't ever spray any chemicals on the garden. Natural or not, I don't really care. We don't bother. We just try to invite as many of the members of the wildlife into our garden as possible and try to get them to stay over winter and kind of take it full circle from there. And as you can see, the gardens are doing pretty well here. We have absolutely no pest issues at all in our garden. We had some caterpillars, but I guess the blackbirds will take care of those, I believe. So we actually make birdhouses and they have evolved over time. We used to use pallet wood and we still do for some of them. And we also paint them and lacquer them now so that they stay intact for probably 5 to 10 years or maybe even longer. We found that we hung up birdhouses in different places so that the birds have a choice of residence, so to speak. And we find that actually they get populated fairly quickly. Even within a month or two, they're already full of birds, and they just build a nest inside the actual birdhouse. So that's the way we've seen it. We must put a camera into one day. So here's one of our birdhouses. So these are actually available on our website if you're interested. And you can see they have a little thingy in the front where the bird can actually sit down. and then there's the entrance. And that's pretty much designed for songbirds, which is just a small entrance, which also protects them from the predatory birds. And at least then they won't be able to get into the nest and take the eggs and even lay their own eggs, even worse. You know who I'm talking about, it's the magpie. And here's one more. Looks a bit more like a cartoon. We have 2 different shapes and lots of different colours on the website. It's pretty much ideal for a bird to actually make a nest in and overwinter. It even gives it a bit of insulation. And of course there is actually a hole in the top here in the back just to hang it up somewhere, on a nail or on a screw. So hang them up all around your garden, somewhere a little bit away from activity, not too far, maybe 10 to 20 meters from where you are every day at least, and probably about maybe 1.50 meter to about 2 meters in height. You could go to maybe 5 to 8 foot or somewhere around that. So if you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. We'd highly appreciate it. Thanks a million for watching. And if you're looking for any birdhouses, we have some available on our website. You can use the earlybird21 discount code on those as well for 15% off. Thanks very much for your support. Bye bye.